Thanks for joining me today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live in New Westminster, British Columbia, which is just outside Vancouver on the west coast of Canada. So welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just going to open up my chat, see who's popping on, and make sure that I'm live on my page. I should be live. Yep, there I am. I should be live on YouTube also. So, yeah, if you're watching me there, that's great. Or if you're watching me here, I've got sound, I've got video, audio. Things look like they're doing well today. So I'm just going to turn that up a tit, although then the light gets, there we go. We're going to be using the Lights of Aurora Suite Collection today, which is a gorgeous suite from the September to December 2025 Mini Catalog. So you might have not seen it in there, but we'll show you where it is, and I'll show you the products that are included in the suite, and then we'll make a card. So we'll just wait for somebody to pop on, and then we will get started. And let's see what's going on here. Okay, it just takes a minute for Facebook to catch up, which can be kind of strange because I feel like I'm talking to myself. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Anybody coming? Anybody here? Anybody coming? Just wait. Just wait a few seconds more, and then I'll get started. There we go. Hi, Ellie. Thanks for coming. I always, the delay in the live just makes me crazy. But anyway, thanks for coming. All right, I'm going to hide myself. And we're going to get started. At least Ellie and I are going to get started. Okay. All right. So we're going to be using, as I said, the Lights of Aurora. So Lights of Aurora, which are, you know, the Aurora Borealis. And then the stamp set is called Light and Wonder. And then here's the dies that go with that. So you can make quite beautiful scenes with the dies. Excuse me. Okay, so I said I would tell you where you find this suite. It's on page 36. Look at all the beautiful colors it goes with. Basic black, gorgeous grape, berry burst, pool party, balmy blue, azure afternoon. I just noticed that, and noticed that I'm not really using any of those colors, but that's okay. And then what comes in this suite? Well, I've shown you the bundle. Okay, so we've got the bundle. And then we've also got the gorgeous designer series paper. There's 48 sheets. Just going to put these out here. There's 6 designs. So that's one side. And then there's the other side. Look at that. So it really does look like the Northern Lights, which we do get where I live occasionally. And there are 6 patterns, and you get 8 of each, right? That's 48. I'll have to do my math today. And then you can also select the frosted iridescent dots. Those are pretty. And you can choose the balmy blue, this beautiful sheer ribbon. It's gorgeous. I think is it 3/8? No, half an inch. And it's sheer. It's really beautiful. Okay, so that's what's included in the suite. So let's get started on our card. It looks like it's just you and me, Ellie. I'm glad you showed up. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to start with a basic white. And I've cut this one. Usually we cut it 5.5 by 4.5, and then we scored it. 5.5 by 8.5, and we scored it 4.25. But today I've got 11 by 4.25, scored at 5.5. Okay, then I've got some of that beautiful designer series paper. I've chosen this pattern because I think it looks like the sky. And I've chosen this one because it looks like kind of an aquamarine lake that we might see here. Then I've got this little strip that I'm going to put on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to start actually by putting on or gluing down the sky. Let's get that. Everybody recovered from daylight savings? I swear, it's just, ugh. If you have kids or dogs, there's no such thing. You don't get an extra hour's sleep at all. You just have a dog looking for their breakfast or a kid looking for theirs, right? Okay, So that's the sky. And then I'm going to grab some colors here. So this is Blackberry Bliss. And then I've got Highland Heather, Lost Lagoon, and Basic White. And I'm going to take those dies. Here they are. Hi, Keisha. How are you, friend? I'm going to take these dies and we're going to do some cutting. Now, I'm going to admit I've cut these ahead of time, but I want to show you how I cut them. Okay. So we've got this one here, which is kind of a group of trees. And I went ahead and cut that out of the Highland Heather. Okay. And I cut it so I placed it so it was near the top, and then I can always trim the bottom. Okay. So that's that one. And then I also cut, actually what I'm going to do is show you as I go along, I think that would be better. So I've got the Basic White, and out of that one I used this one here, which looks like a mountain range. So I just cut that out, and then you can trim it down to be the size that you want. Okay, so that piece looks like this. I'm just going to grab it. That's just like this. Okay, and that's going to get placed here, which is going to give you that look of the mountains against the blue sky. Okay, I'm not going to glue it down yet though until I laid everything where I want it. Okay, you're still recovering. Oh yeah. I saw somebody today and I thought this is so true. For those of you who are Blue Jays fans, and my sister and I are Blue Jays fans, like we don't just jump on in October, like we watch it all year. Okay, 4 years. And Ellie, I saw somebody today refer to Ernie Clement because he's such a sweetheart. They said they're going to go buy a golden retriever and name it Ernie because if he were a dog, he'd be a golden retriever. Just seeking out people and making sure they're okay. Just sweet. Anyway, I don't know if I'm recovered, but anyway, we shall move on. All right, for this one, this is kind of like details of the mountains. And then here, I thought this looked kind of like as the mountains come down and then you've got the earth, I guess, going around the lake. So that was cut out from Lost Lagoon. And how I did that was I used this die. So that cut out this shape. And then I took this one, and I placed it this way. So sort of like that. So then I ran them through at the same time, and that's how I ended up with this piece. Okay, so that's those. And then let's sort of get this sorted here. So what I want to do is I want this piece to form the illusion of a lake. It reminds me of Banff, like, right? Mural Lake or Murin Lake, just sort of, or even, I guess, Lake Louise. So I want this to be situated in a way that it's there. Kind of lines up like that. And I noticed that when I cut these, they might be a little short. That's okay. I can go in and cut that later. Okay. Take off a little titch. It won't matter. So that's how we're going to do this, I think. So I'm just going to lay it down. I did find that the more I played with it, the better it was. And then the last piece that I cut was from that Blackberry Bliss. And it's this large group of trees. Okay. Excuse me. And then I trimmed it down. So here's what we ended up with. So we want to, this is the part, I'm sure there are people that are smarter than me that can figure this out, but I had to play with this quite a bit. Okay, so I want that sort of like that, but then kind of want this to show. So, and then I need this to be a little bit higher. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and just play with it as I glue it. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I didn't discover it, so I'm just going to do what I think. Okay, I'm going to leave enough of a space at the top. I am going to be stamping something, so I need to have enough space on that DSP. That'll have to do. or I'll just change my saying. Okay, and then I want this, and it's okay if this is a bit higher. I think that's what I did, because I'm going to be putting something down there, so it won't matter. Okay, that looks pretty good, but again, I want to make sure by laying this down. Yeah, I think that's how I did it. Okay, so let's glue this down. Good morning, Lan. How are ya? Who else jumped on? Hi, Diane. How are ya? Nice to see you guys. Okay, I think that's about right. I was just saying that I don't worry too much if this is off a little bit. I've cut it a bit smaller, all these little pieces. I'm just going to get my adhesive eraser because I'm just going to trim it down. I can do that. Okay, then we've got this piece. So that looks like the water, right? The water's edge. And then this is, yeah, that's going to work. Yay. Okay. Dab my glue on. It's a beautiful day. Lan, you're going to laugh. You wouldn't believe Gracie and I the other day in that pouring atmospheric river. She wanted nothing to do with it. I don't know if she thought she could go the whole day without going outside. I'm not sure. So I had to take her out for a walk. And when I say take her for a walk, I mean drag her down the street is what I had to do. But she went, and we were able to come back in. Boy, I have a very stubborn puppy. She just wants what she wants, and she doesn't want what she doesn't want. And then she looks at you like, well, I'm super cute, so I should be able to do what I want. Okay, I think that's how I want that. Maybe a little bit higher, because remember I told you that I went ahead and cut the pieces. I showed you the colors that I cut them out of. She's a princess. She is. She's actually worse than a princess, Leanne. She's, I don't know, princesses conjure up sweetness. She's evil, kind of. Yeah, I want that a little bit down further. So I'm trying to not cover that up. And each time I did this, I got a different, oh yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, so let's put the glue on here. Now for your trees, if you're not that proficient with the glue, there are some things you can do. And I think I've shown you before, but let's remind you. You can take a silicone mat. Everybody needs a silicone mat. Put some glue on it. Grab a sponge or a dauber. And then dab that glue on. This works really well for these really fine images, detailed, delicate images. There we go. This suite is the suite that my friends from around the world, literally, are using this month for my free, or our free, customer video PDF tutorial. So I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. So that's how I would add glue to those, all those little bits. If, there we go. Again, I'm not worried about the side. I'll trim that off. It'd be helpful if my trees were straight. There. And I can just press it down. Of course, you can also use the adhesive sheets, right? Those would work. And then we're just going to glue the Highland Heather. This is the other way you can do it. If you feel like you're a little more proficient with glue, you can just dab the glue on. Just, there we go. Okay, that should work. And then we'll just add that to the bottom and glue that on. I don't think it's that hard to use. I just think that I am the problem. I'm just going to use my adhesive eraser there. Just, there we go. I think that looks good. Oh, this little guy is just hanging over the edge a little bit too much. There we go. Okay. There. That looks good. All right. I am going to grab my trimmer, and I'm just going to take off a titch. And when I would do this, it's for me, some people like to push up to cut and some people like to drag. Hi, Pam. How are you? Nice to see you. Hold this down. Drag carefully, drag, and then back up. And you might have to take your scissors because I am now cutting through a lot of paper. But if I just take my scissors and just trim off where that cut line is, then I end up with something that's a little bit, there we go. That's better. All right. No one will know that that's a titch smaller than 4 1/4. Nobody. Hi, Gail. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Nice to see you. Okay. So let's stamp a sentiment on here. Now, here's the sentiments. Your strength inspires me. May your day be filled with, and then it could be light, wonder, magic, love. Wishing you a year of, right? Brace the, or just use thank you. You are a wonder. You could also say, may your day be filled with love and light, right? So you can mix and match them. So at the top here on my sky with Blackberry Bliss, is it Blackberry Bliss? Yeah, ink. I'm going to I'm going to stamp, may your day be filled with. So make sure that that's all inked up. Okay, and I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. And then for the inside, I'm going to stamp love. But first of all, let me glue down this little 1 inch, and it's going to be long now too, right? Because I trimmed off that little bit. So I find that if I glue it on, I can always trim it off later. It's easier that way. So line that up along the side, the bottom, there we go. Now that dry. And then I'm going to use love. So it is nice for you to catch me live. I'm so happy. Thank you. Who else jumped on here? I think I said hi to everybody. I'll go back and check. Okay. Is that a gorgeous, rich color, that Blackberry Bliss? It's so gorgeous. Okay, now remember I had to trim down my card, so I'm going to trim that off the edge. And there we go. May your day be filled with. Now let's add a little bit more. We can take that gorgeous ribbon that we talked about. This is part of the suite. And I'm going to put it around the bottom. And this is why I cut this card to be 4 1/4 by 11, because I wanted to be able to thread this ribbon through. And if it was the other way, I wouldn't be able to do that unless I created another layer, and it was getting a bit layered, a little bit layer heavy, I thought. So let's tie a bow. And there we go. And we can adjust those little tails so they aren't so long. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Ribbon scissors. And go. Okay, so now we have a nice little bow. And maybe I'll just drag this a titch along. It might be a little too. There we go. And then you can add some of those pretty little gems. Now, what are they? Frosted iridescent dots. So let's add some of those. Looks like we've got, wouldn't want to guess the color. I'm going to say Pool Party. I think these are supposed to be Berry Burst, but they're a very light hue of the colors that they recommend, because this is more like Highland Heather than Gorgeous Grape. So let's just peel some of these off and add those to our project. Oop. I think I got a bit too much putty there. And then I'll just pull up one of these blue ones, put it down there. Okay, you could add more if you wanted. All right, so there is our card. And this is the one that I made ahead of time, right? So it's pretty good. So you can see that they can be a bit different, right? Depending on where you place your die cutted elements, right? And this one I chose a different part of this long die. So that kind of changes it up a little bit. Now here's another card. Oh, thanks, Ellie. Yeah. Thanks, Kathy. You jumped on there. This is a pretty one. This is nice. This is that So Swirly embossing folder. Remember we used it for the Festive Friends to make the illusion of snow? I think it just looks more, this on this card, it really looks like the illusion of that Aurora Borealis is just spreading. So this is a simpler version. This is the Arch die set. I think it's on Last Chance, I think. Now, I contribute, so I'm going to type, thank you, Pam. I contribute Lights of Aurora, right? If you're on my team, so that means that you are part of my team or my team's team, you are our larger Canada Ink Sub team. You get access to this every single month. So in November, my friends are using, and I are using Lights of Aurora. So these are just kind of little snippets of the cards. We just give you a little bit of a sneak peek. This is not my card, my finished card, but this is the sneak peek of my card. Okay. So all you have to do is join my team or my team's team, or make any size purchase in the month of November, and I will send you that. It's got 12 videos too, so all the directions plus 12 videos. Okay, now these two cards I'm going to show you are not created with Lights of Aurora, but they are created with Scenic Adventure, which is a bundle that you can purchase. But I wanted to show you that they're very similar. This one's got a little bit more detail with the mountains and the trees. This is cute little campfire. So you could definitely adapt this set to this set or vice versa. Okay. And then that's the inside of that one. And then lastly, this is also the Scenic Adventures. So you could take these elements and just create this exact same thing. You could use a circle or a square or something like that, just to give you that same effect, right? Okay, so that's my card for today. And I'm going to come over here. Here we are. All right. Thanks, Pam. And look how simple it was to create. It is a very, the suite creates gorgeous landscapes, doesn't it? Okay, I think I said hello to everybody. It would be a great masculine card. You're quite right. You know what I'm going to do, you guys? I'm just going to hold this up a titch just so you can see more of the details of it. So there we've got the mountain detail coming down and there's a little lake sneaking through. Okay, so you can kind of see that illusion. This one, I changed, the mountains are a little bit higher up, and this piece here is a little bit higher up on the mountains, and you can see more of the lake on either side. So pretty, very pretty. Okay. Hi, Carly. Oh, I'm so glad you popped in at the last minute. Nice to see you. I'm finished my card, Carly, but that was the card I did. Does that remind you of home? The mountains and the trees. Okay. Very BC interior looking. It is. Yes, it is. It's gorgeous. Or even up in our mountains, right? Yeah, Whistler would look like that. Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. So we're early, a little. Well, we're early. So I'll see you guys again on Wednesday, hopefully, at 2 p.m. Pacific time, so you can adjust for your time zone. I'm on live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific and on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific. And you can always catch the recordings on either my Stamp Crazy with Alison Facebook page or on my Stamp Crazy with Alison YouTube channel. So check out over there. Okay, you guys, thanks for coming. Oh, you're welcome, Pam. Thanks for coming. Have a great rest of the day. I know it's late there where you, well, it's later, 2 p.m. where you are. So yeah, okay, great. I think I said hi to everybody. Okay. We'll see you Wednesday, I hope. Until then, happy stamping and thanks for coming. Bye for now.